Hey guys, great to be here. Thanks for having me. Just quick show of hands. Does anyone who has seen the founder of Animoca, Yatsio, speak before? Has anyone seen Yatsio speak before? Okay, not that many. That's good actually. So Yat is the founder of Animoca Brands. He's a pretty prolific speaker. You want to watch him speak. He's a much better speaker than me, so you can go on YouTube and check it out. So given that, I'm assuming that most people haven't really heard about Animoca Brands before, so I'll just give quick context of who we are. So my name is Minh. I'm the COO at Animoca Brands, and we are probably one of the largest non-exchange, non-layer one companies in crypto. So we are the owners of the Sandbox, which is the original metaverse, and we invest very actively in the blockchain ecosystem. We are chain agnostic. So we invest across multiple chains, and we have also over the past couple years, we're known for GameFi. That was how we started our business. So we're originally a mobile gaming company, and then we pivoted into crypto gaming, and from there we basically started expanding across the blockchain ecosystem. So we build our own projects in-house. We also actively invest, and then today I'm going to talk to you about digital identity. And I guess probably the slides I'm going to flick through at the beginning are probably well known to most people in this room. This seems to be a fairly crypto and blockchain savvy audience. But this is a very old Economist cover page, but I think very iconic, at least from our perspective, right? So 2017, obviously at this point is very, very clear that the data that we all contribute to the internet every day, it has become the world's most valuable resource. This is the world that we see. Obviously, we'll probably add OpenAI to this map pretty soon. There's a different map we're based in Hong Kong, so if you look at China, it's a different map. But basically, the rest of the world lives under the fiefdoms of these large tech companies, right? They control all the data because they can match all the data across your user profile, across all of your activities on the internet, and that's created basically, what is being talked about today as the techno oligarchy, right? The companies that basically dominate the world and control both from a financial and also I guess at this point, computational perspective, most of the world's resources. And so the problem that we see, and Animoca Brands' mission has always been to bring the ownership of data back to the user. So the mission that we're founded on is to bring digital property rights to users. We believe in that mission. It's why we exist. And so we started, this journey in 2017, and it's clear. Obviously, I think this room is probably familiar with this type of concept. The data that we create creates information that creates knowledge, and obviously that knowledge has now come to the forefront in the form of products like ChatGPT. And it's our belief that property rights actually create better economies, right? Even though I'm from Hong Kong, and I'm assuming most of this room will probably have never been to China, you probably have some conception of China. But even in China, we have property rights, right? That's why we have a real estate bubble as well. But it's our belief that property rights generate better economies, right? So if you actually give users and citizens property rights, that will create larger, better economies over time, given the scalability of those rights into different businesses. And so we believe that this is important for the internet era as well. And this is the critical moment. And this is why we are building and we're investing a lot of our resources into the concept of digital identity, because we fundamentally believe that this is the fight that we need to fight as the Web3 community. So we started in gaming. We thought, right, that gaming was where we were going to take the fight to begin with. In 2021, we believed that, gamers already understand digital property rights. They already understand digital assets. And so therefore, they should transition very cleanly into Web3 concepts and own their own rights. And that was where we started our business. For a variety of reasons, that didn't happen. Part of it was the media in the West was very anti-crypto, very anti-NFTs. a big part of it, I think, was also the distribution limitations that we found in gaming with Apple, Google, and Steam heavily restricting access to basically distribution for games. So, GameFi hasn't really worked out yet. There have been some successful GameFi products, but in general, the Web3 gaming dream has not yet succeeded. So in 2023, we came across this headline, which, at the time in 2021, we were known as the Metaverse company, and everyone was like, is the Metaverse dead? And the answer is, well, we never believed in the Metaverse as the version of Mark Zuckerberg, which is like, okay, it's like a 3D, a virtual world that you exist in. The version of the Metaverse that we believe in is where you own your own assets, and you can translate those assets and your digital identity from place to place, right? So I would equate it to the way we think about things in the real world. I came here to Switzerland from Hong Kong. I can buy something, I can buy a gift from Switzerland and bring it back to my home in Hong Kong, right? That's a kind of a normal thing, but you cannot do that online, right? That is not possible. In the digital world, you cannot buy a digital good and then transport that digital good back to another property on the online arena. That is not possible, and that is what we believe the promise of blockchains is. And to the lady who spoke just before me, they're working on basically the same problem, which is how do you transport your data across your different identities. So this is Mocaverse. Actually, Mocaverse started off as a pet project of ours. We were in the NFT space, and we're like, okay, we're going to do an NFT. It's kind of a bit of fun. So you see the art is very fun and interesting. The thing in the middle is a Hong Kong taxi, if you've ever been to Hong Kong. And so we did this NFT, and then after we did the NFT, we're like, okay, well, what should we do next? And so and this is at the time when kind of gaming, blockchain gaming was really struggling to take off. We recognized this, and as a business, we were like, hey, blockchain gaming is really struggling to take off. We need to do something else. And we went back to the mission of the company, and the mission of the company is we want to bring digital property rights to users. And so we looked at the identity space, and this is where we see digital identity today, which is either you have massive confusion, so the average American employee has 100 passwords that they manage across multiple accounts, or you commit to subservience. Usually most people are a combination of the two. You get free services, but that is, there's a cost to that. Basically, the cost is that Apple and Google and Facebook make all of the money, right? I created this using ChatGPT, so I thought it was pretty good, actually. I was like, I went back and forth a little bit, but I thought it was pretty good. And as the lady just now before me spoke about, GDPR compliance and other types of privacy preserving compliance costs are skyrocketing. For the average Web2 app, these costs are going to become too expensive for large single service Web2 applications to actually service over time. And with the increasing amount of content being delivered via AI, the Web2 apps that outside of the large tech giants are going to continue to increasingly struggle to monetize and to stay alive. And that is the reality that we see, right? If you are a single service, like you're like a football app, you understand the user's profile when it comes to football. They're a Man United supporter or Bayern Munich supporter, and maybe you know their age, but that's kind of basically all the information you know. So the ability for you to monetize that data is very, very limited. So this is the current situation with identity today. You log in with Google, you're logging in, but someone else is logging everything, right? That's what Google does. Everyone knows this. Or your identity is in one place, but you cannot transplant that identity, even though it makes so much sense, right? You can play the same game on the PlayStation Network and the same game on Steam, and you cannot transplant that identity across, right? It's super frustrating for us as gamers. There are some great European exceptions. I understand Estonia has a great digital ID, but generally speaking, the digital identities that are created by the states are basically not good. Or you have your corporate identity. Your corporate identity is your identity in your enterprise, and you can use that across multiple apps, but you cannot use it outside of your workplace, right? So this is the current status of identity. So obviously, and again, this is a crypto-centric audience. I'm assuming that everyone's thought about this at least a little bit. The goal is to build a user-centric identity, where the design principle is it's one portable identity across all web pages and all chains. It's a self-sovereign identity. And it's privacy preserving, backed by zero knowledge proofs. I was very interested to hear the Patizia presentation before, but zero knowledge proofs is what we're building on. And it's interoperable across all of those applications. So this is the vision that we see, which is you carry your identity. Our product is called Air. And you can carry it from Web 2 to Web 3 and back. That is the goal. And actually, I would say there are a lot of DID solutions out there on the market. But this is our product. It is a end-to-end account with identity features that natively integrate with Web2 apps, right? So that's really why we think we're differentiated. It's not because we don't believe that the technology is the thing that's going to win here. The thing that's going to win here is distribution. The thing that's going to win here is the ability to integrate with all of the applications that already have hundreds of millions of users, but they're not Google. And because they're not Google and they're not Facebook, they're getting crushed. And so we have built all of these features. These are all live. And so you can bring, if you're a Web2 app, you can bring your own authentication. We have biometric 2FA. So to make sure that we know that you are who you are when you're logging into an application. And then from there, if you're an application, we use zero knowledge proofs to verify specific data about you. Are you over 18? Are you a KYC'd user? Are you a Bayern Munich supporter? That's basically how we work. And our goal is to bridge the data silos that you've created as a user across the blockchain from vertical stacks to create effectively the network that Google has, but on a decentralized basis. So our goal is you have a football app, you have a healthcare app, you have your shopping mall app. What we want to achieve is to allow these different data silos to understand that you are the same user and be able to access your data provided you approve it. Right? Provided you approve it, you allow them access to your data, and that will allow for them to monetize better and for you to share in that monetization. Ultimately, our goal is to take all the money that Google is making AdSense and transplant that back into the individual user apps that you use every day, as well as to the user themselves. So we are live already with account partners, building. The biggest place where we're live right now is South Korea. Because that is a crypto-native market, so we can go to market with crypto-native solutions. And so we're starting from there, and we're expanding globally. And so you can already go to certain apps and transplant your identity across those multiple apps, and those apps will share the data, and you will share in the monetization. So, finally, and I want to say, we have spent a lot of time and resource building the technology behind this, but I actually don't think our technology is groundbreaking, right? We have not spent thousands of hours of man hours doing R&D. Actually, most of the DID technology that exists today is quite well developed and quite mature. It's actually one of our beliefs that if you're building something and you have to invent a lot of things, you're probably too early to build that thing, right? That's how we think about it from a commercial perspective. So, most of the DID technology today is pretty mature. But why do we think we'll win? Fundamentally, when it comes to DID, network effect is king and distribution is queen. You have to get distribution for other people to use your ID. So that is fundamentally what we're focused on as a company, is getting distribution for the ID. And how do we use the magic internet money that we create in Web3 to actually build real businesses? That's really the question, right? There's so much magic internet money that's been created in this space, and most of it has been used for, most of it has been wasted. But the superpower of Web3 is to create incentives for people to take actions. That's really the superpower of Web3. If there's one thing that Web3 can do well, it is to fix the cold start problem of marketplaces, because you have token incentives to do that. And so that's what, at Animoca Brands, honestly, we're we believe we're probably one of the best teams in the world at. We understand token incentives very, very deeply. So we're using token incentives to drive partner acquisition. And this will create a cross-application rewards flywheel. We will create basically what it will effectively become a global loyalty program that will allow for discounts, benefits to users on a global basis. Think about linking your Marriott Bonvoy to your airline application. That's really what we're trying to achieve. We believe that partners will have a shared incentive to make the network succeed. That is, again, the beauty of Web3. If you're part of the network, you are incentive aligned for the network to be successful. And we are GDPR compliant. We are working on privacy compliance across all of the different jurisdictions. So this is why we believe that Animoca Brands is going to help revolutionize the digital identity space. Thank you.